Welcome to Beyond Our Focus. I'm Stefan, this is Amanda, and this is Breaking Prisms for April 16th, where we go over the Twilight Zone and Black Mirror. And right now we're going over the brand new 2019 episodes of Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone. So, this is the third episode, titled Replay. And, yeah, I'm just going to throw it off right off the bat. We're not even going to give a rating. And not one of our favorite episodes.
Yeah, it's a more difficult episode to review properly.
Yes. And I'm going to say primarily based on the fact that I just believe this, it's not very Twilight Zone-like.
No.
The first two episodes, phenomenal. This is what the Twilight Zone is. There are some really cool supernatural sci-fi things going on. Really cool, really interesting. This one has the plot is basically a woman and her son, which was portrayed very well in my opinion.
Yes, they did very well.
They were very likable characters. And she's trying to take her son to college. And they stop at this diner, and when they leave, this cop finds them.
Yes.
Every single time. And he is probably the most racist evil cop known to man.
Yes, he is. The actor did very well portraying him, though.
Yes.
He gives a very intimidating presence. But he also has, even when he has nice scenes, he's trying to be civil about it. No, he looks like a serial killer, okay?
He does. I mean, you get the impression throughout the series that he is like Michael Myers or Jason hunting these people down.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gives off that vibe really well.
So pretty much the premise of the episode is that this woman has a camera, a camcorder, like an actual old style camcorder, and she is able to hit rewind and it restarts time. It pretty much just rewinds however long she's holding the button down for, or some amount of time, we're not quite sure. And then she's able to start that moment or time over again.
Yeah. So we have a cop chasing them. They're trying to get to college, and she keeps rewinding time to try to get by the cop.
Yes.
That's kind of the premise of the episode. That's what's going on. Like I said before, the characters did a really good job. The cop portrayed really well. Again, very intimidating, very scary throughout the episode. This whole episode really is based around these three characters.
Yes.
We get a fourth one a little later on, but is primarily around these couple of characters. And all of them do a very good job.
Yes.
As always, as I've said probably in every episode, and will continue to say in every episode, in my opinion, Jordan Peele does a fantastic job as a narrator. And the first two episodes, he was phenomenal. In this episode, he's really good at the first part. He's almost non-existent in the back half, which is a little disappointing because I look forward to seeing him every episode, and we didn't really get him in this one.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how he gets inserted into the storyline. This time, sitting at a diner, just reading a paper. You hear his narration, but all you see is his back.
And they just kind of pan over, and he kind of looks at the camera with his almost sideways view a little bit. He has a way he likes to treat it, and in my opinion, he does a really great job. I mean, it's hard to match Rod Sterling's original narration.
Yes.
He just has the iconic voice and how he reads it, and it's so cool. But Jordan Peele has given his own flavor of that, and it's excellent, in my opinion.
And sadly, though, this is the first episode where on the back end, the closing narration is that. It is a voiceover narration. Very
short voiceover narration. So we don't get him again on the back end, which is a little disappointing because, again, like I said, I always look forward to seeing him. He's always one of the better parts of the episode.
As far as anything besides that, I guess technically next would be going into the spoiler section. This episode, the sad part is the story was pretty much cut and dry to where there's not really spoilers. If you've read the summary, you kind of understand what's going on.
Yeah, so it's hard to kind of explain what the front half of it was. We like the characters a lot. We like how it was shot, because the Twilight Zone so far has been shot really beautifully. But the overall plot treated you as though you were a 2-year-old trying to learn your ABCs.
Yes.
And that is the biggest issue of this plot. It tries to tell a meaningful story, but it really beats you over the head with it. So much so that they treat you like you're not a very intelligent person.
Yeah. What Rod Serling, what he was able to do was he was able to take really important messages and just kind of slip them into a situation where you may not fully understand what's going on right away, but by the end of it, you're able to overall see the picture. You're able to understand, like, even if it's using different characters or things you wouldn't normally think would relate to that message at all, he was able to take that and blend it together and create a full Twilight Zone story. And unfortunately, this one, if you take the one element out, which is sci-fi, which is the Twilight Zone part of it, the camera, you would still have a complete story. And it would be more kind of a Lifetime story or a Hallmark story or just kind of a short, put together story of a really intense situation. It would not be sci-fi.
Yeah, which I said at the top of the show, it doesn't feel very Twilight Zone. Again, you take out the camera, you still have literally the exact same plot with the same ending, the same everything. So it wouldn't have changed anything. This episode was, again, a Lifetime movie. They threw into a camera that rewound time a couple times, and that was it. So in the end, there were a lot of tense scenes, but them treating the audience like they're dumb, and to me, some really bad writing did not make the episode very entertaining.
No. So overall, like, as far as pros and cons go, I mean, as I said, acting, cinematography, everything like that was great. Message, understandable, but just over the top.
Yes. So, we're going to rate, and then we're going to go to a little bit of spoilers before we end out of this particular episode. So, what are we rating this episode out of companion cubes?
Sadly, I lost a couple companion cubes on this one.
I would 100% agree.
I missed the jumps. I got shot by the lasers. It didn't go well.
It did not go well. Poor companion cube, buddy. See, it would be even cooler if we actually had 5 companion cubes and we could, like, knock them off.
We'll work on that.
Companion cubes, not very cheap.
No,
and
I
cannot afford 5 companion cubes. So we have 1 companion cube.
And we're holding on to him for dear life.
Yes, he's awesome. He's great. So, what are we saying? Like 2 companion cubes out of 5? Lost 3?
I would say so. Because we've been rating, if you remember, we've been rating the last 2 episodes, even though we thought they were amazing. We've only been giving them 4 to leave that room for, like, the best episode that's going to happen. We hope.
We hope. The last 2 episodes we thought were really great. And there were some very slight, tiny things that we thought maybe not fantastic. So we didn't give them 5. Yes. And this one, unfortunately, is definitely a couple steps below the last 2. I will say that if you watch the preview for next week's episode, that looks really, really cool.
And for you Walking Dead fans out there, we get to see Glenn again.
Yeah, Glenn was where I stopped watching The Walking Dead. Once they got rid of him, I was like, yeah, I'm done. He was my boy.
Stephen Yeun is amazing.
He is. And I'm looking... The next episode looks really, really cool, and I'm super looking forward to it.
And that's the thing, is that the trailer for this one made it seem like the camera was going to be a big part of it.
So, I'm looking forward and hoping the next one will be awesome. But if you don't want to hear any more about the plot, we're going to go into a little bit of a little bit of, I guess it is story, but spoilers before we jump out here in the end. So if you want to click away, you have an opportunity to do that. If not, well, I don't know what to tell you. But
just stare at the screen and hold your ears.
So, yeah, spoilers. The son dies.
Once.
He does that once. And they rewind time. So it doesn't matter. Like everything in this episode, unfortunately.
Sadly, the camera only gets used 3 times, I think. Because there was...
No, it's more than that.
No, ketchup. So there's ketchup.
It's like 5 or 6.
Pulled over.
But...
almost tased. Shot. And then... Or no, I think it was almost tased, and then shot.
Also, the lottery.
Oh, yeah. The one little lottery scene,
yes.
which made no sense.
So, yes, as we said earlier, if you take the camera out of this, this could have literally been a Michael Myers story of this cop chasing down these 2 people who he does not like, and they keep narrowly getting away, and you would have the exact same story. It would have changed nothing.
It could have been a great crime thriller. Or not a crime thriller, like just, I guess, a drama thriller? Drama? Psychological? Not really psychological thriller. I guess it could have just been a drama thriller.
Yeah.
But.
So they keep trying to escape the cop, and over multiple times, the son decides, or they beat you over the head that the kid doesn't really know his family. He's never been really seen his family, and the mom left the family a while ago and doesn't want to return or see the uncle. But the kid really wants to. But he's never been around family, as they tell you so many times. So, of course, we know towards the beginning, we're going to go see family because...
Eventually, you're going to go see the uncle. Because you have a device that is able to rewind time. And you know early on in the episode, you have a choice of either going forward or taking a right to go visit the uncle. And the right is not taken. So you know eventually you're going to go see the uncle no matter what. It's going to happen.
And it does happen. Yeah. And this is after she decides to finally tell the son about the camera, to which he pretty much just believes her right away. Which is like, okay, sure, why not? And then we see the uncle, and she tells the uncle. And then he immediately believes her right away. And then devises a whole plot on a map and everything about how they're going to sneak through town and go into an underground bunker to pop up at the school to escape the cop.
I don't know.
It like we said before, it really felt like a Lifetime movie. It really felt like a Disney Channel original movie.
Yeah, it was... It's like there were such strong messages. There was such, like, the importance of family, everything like that. And then, of course, just stronger messages. And they just... The plot was... I don't know. I can't.
The writing just was not very good. There's a lot of really good messages in it about family. And the relationship between the mother and son is really, really good. And the strong messages about the wrongness of police brutality.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of really good, strong messages here. But it just wasn't handled very well.
No. And not only was it not handled really well, and not, of course, to beat you guys over the head with it, but the fact that the one thing that made it a Twilight Zone episode was not important, besides the fact that it gave them another chance.
Yes. If you can remove the only thing that makes it a Twilight Zone episode, and it still be the exact same plot, then it wasn't important. This was not a Twilight Zone episode. This was a Lifetime Disney movie, and that's just kind of what it was. And unfortunately, that's to its detriment.
Yes. So for some people out there, maybe it is a great episode to you. Maybe you just really like how the story was, and you're surpassing the camera altogether, and you're just seeing it for just a story, and maybe that's why you like it. And
that's fine.
But
it wasn't a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, as far as Twilight Zone goes, it just wasn't there for me. So I'm sorry.
At all. So we'll re-intimate. It is 2 out of 5 companion cubes for us. We lost 3 on the way, unfortunately, but we're looking forward to next week, so hopefully that'll be really good. Any final thoughts before we jump out? As always, you can reach me at Star Wars Untroubled. Reach Amanda at KZ Pup. Reach the show at Beyond Our Focus. Everywhere, including YouTube and podcast services around the globe.
Maybe.
Sweet. But I believe that is it. So, feel like I'm forgetting something. But, throw a like on there if you liked the video. You probably didn't. But if you did, throw a like on there. Comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate that. But, till next time, long days and pleasant nights.